So one of my Instagram followers asked me what age did I get into heavy metal, and I wanted to talk about how did I get into heavy metal. So I'd say my love for heavy metal started around 8 years old when I was going through my goth phase, and I found out, well, at the time, Evanescence was being played on the radio like every day, like that song, "Bring Me to Life," and I got really into that. Yeah, it vibed with me, and then this is back when the internet was still kind of new, and I used this music playing platform called Pandora Radio, and yeah, I just kind of just started like a rabbit hole of that. I got into like a Flyleaf and then Mudvayne, and growing up I have two older brothers, and my oldest brother at the time, he was super into Slipknot, and I felt like that kind of rubbed off on me. Yeah, I went from Evanescence to like Slipknot, and then actually after that I ended up going through like my goth phase. I think I already said that, but like my super goth phase. And in my goth phase, I'd say I was around like 12 to 13, 14 years old. I got super into industrial, and to this day, industrial is still like one of my favorite music genres. I listened to a lot of Emily Autumn, some Angel Spit, KMFDM was a big one, Ministry, hell yeah. Some others like B&B Nation, and yeah, some EBM, but primarily KMFDM, Emily Autumn, Angel Spit, Ministry. I don't really listen to that much Angel Spit much lately. But yeah, I do listen to like KMFDM and Ministry like a lot. So there's that, and then I'd say I discovered like Demu Borgir and Behemoth when I was like 13 or 14, and yeah, that started a whole nother rabbit hole. Yeah. And then when I was like 15 years old, I got into Necrophagist. Yeah, I got into like really heavy stuff at a really early age. Well, at least for me. I know there's like some people who probably don't discover Necrophagist until like later. Um, yeah, I listened to a lot of that. Lots of death metal. Um, some mellow death like Arc Enemy. I think the music video for Nemesis came out in like 2006, so I would have been like 12 or 13. Yeah, 12 years old at the time, and she's a fucking badass, Angela Gossow, and yeah, I love that video. It brings me back of the yeah, that yeah. So I have that. So 15 years old I was into Necrophagist, and then 16, 17, I'd say that's the time that I started getting into some deathcore stuff like Chelsea Grin, like early Chelsea Grin. I stole that album. Still the first album. I forgot what it's called, but it's still one of my favorites. A lot of Whitechapel, some Impending Doom. I did listen to like a little bit of metalcore, but like not really. I think once a band I listened to, Of Mice and Men. Yeah, I like their first album, and I still listen to that first album, but like I never really got too much into metalcore. I don't know. I just kind of like went from death metal to deathcore, and I also around this age I also got into like technical death metal, so like Necrophagist, the Faceless, stuff like that. Yeah, and then when I was like 17 years old, someone introduced me to fucking Slam. Oh my gosh, Devourment, that song Baby Killer, where it's just really the vocals. That's like not even singing, it's just like, I think in Slam, I don't know much about music theory or music in general, but like I think with Slam it's just like another kind of like music instrument that adds to the layers. And because in Slam they use like a guttural type of vocals, which I would love to be able to do at some point, but yeah, yeah, it's like you can't hear what they're saying. And then yeah, so I've been a metalhead since I guess since I was like 12 or 13, I'd say. Yeah, and I'm 26 years old now, and I still love heavy metal. I don't really have a specific band that I love, or genre that I love. I will say that some of my top favorite genres are probably progressive, prog metal, industrial metal, probably I don't know, old school death metal. I love new metal. I grew up with it. I cannot not love it. And yeah, folk metal. That's good. And yeah, those are some of my favorite genres of metal. And I will say that, you know, when I was a teenager, it was really weird just listening to death metal and being into all those bands because no one else was really into that. I mean, obviously, from the obvious other metalheads and metalheads on the internet, because back when I was a teen, that was like the infancy of like social media. But yeah, when I was a teenager, everyone else was like kind of listening to like Bring Me the Horizon or Pierce the Veil, um, Asking Alexandria, stuff I really never got into, and I'm kind of glad I never got into that because it kind of sucks. Yeah, I'm not one of those music. I try not to be an elitist, but like metalcore kind of it's just very generic kind of music, and especially stuff that leans more mainstream and appeals to a much younger crowd. So I mean, I do like some metalcore, so stuff like Converge is pretty rad. Dillinger Escape Plan, I loved Dillinger Escape Plan when I was like a kid, well, teenager, and I'm kind of sad I never got to see them play live before because I've heard they do like pretty crazy shows, and I think that would have been awesome to see them live. Anyway, that's my video of how I got into heavy metal, or at what age did I get into heavy metal. So